Hello and welcome to Premier Injuries here for your late Q&A to help you right at the end of the week before this blank game week 36. We've said it through the week, but we'll remind you again, this is a blank game week, so there'll be 4 teams not playing. So if you make any late kind of transfers because you've been watching the news, injuries, whatever has decided your team, make sure to not buy from the 4 teams not playing this weekend. But I do want to make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like and share the video as well, and comment below if you've liked this one, because we're going to be doing this all through the end of this season. We'll be doing a few over the summer, and then of course all through next season as well. We're not going anywhere at all over the summer months. We'll probably be working just as hard behind the scenes, making great content for you, and there will be great content, great guests in the summer. But at the moment we got some good content here, some great questions for you, Mr. Ben. But are you looking forward to game week 36? Have you decided on your team so that you can catch up with me?
Jason, you know that I'll only leave it until the last half an hour before deadline. We still have a glut of press conferences to come on Friday, so I'll take all the information to hand. I'm only carrying over 1 free transfer after doing a double dip ahead of, this triple game week. So, but I'm fairly happy with the squad. So there's no guarantees that I might use that. Obviously, we've got game week 37, which follows quickly on the heels midweek. And then, of course, I will be looking to bench boost in game week 38 to bring home the bacon for the big din.
And I hope, I want you to do well, but just not well enough so that you catch up with me. It's that kind of thing of wishing you luck, but only enough luck that I get some as well. But we wish all our listeners, viewers, however you're tuning into this, the best of luck. And I'll give you some luck ahead of mine as well, because it's not been the best of seasons. But I hate KO Pites. I think that is the correct way to say it. Some of these usernames are absolutely wild. Really good FPL question here. Cereal or toast for breakfast, Ben?
Ooh, well, that depends. That really does depend on which day of the week it is, and how I'm pressed for time. I am a Weetabix man with warm milk, got to be. The occasional bowl of porridge, that will be dictated to by the kids. But if I fancy a lazy Saturday, just a bit of chill, maybe a little bit of toast, maybe a bacon sandwich in there as well. So I would think on the whole, it's the Weetabix route that I tend to go down. I feel it is just a little bit more healthier and a little bit keeps me fuller for longer.
Good satiation there. That's good science. I mean, I go for, if people are actually interested, I'm not sure if they really care what I eat, but I have the same thing every day, no matter what. 2 egg omelette with 2 bits of brown toast. But I do like porridge. I used to love protein porridge. So what you do is you get the protein powder, mix it with the milk, put that into the microwave, or I like cooking mine on the hob, and it tastes delicious, really good, and a little bit of peanut butter in there as well for some healthy fats. Just a little insight there. Now, Sevillian Sabiduria, again, apologies if I butchered any names here, but the question from them is actually on FPL, but we like any sort of questions here, really, even if it is about breakfast. They've asked best Man City asset for game week 36. Difficult one, because I would always say Edison. At least you know he plays, but are there any other ones that maybe you would give preference to, Ben?
It's difficult to remain objective. Obviously, they're travelling up the Tyneside, my hometown club. If we play anything like what we did at the King Power, and City aren't quite at it after their celebrations midweek, understand I had a few drinks and a few pizzas on the go. They're obviously missing Kevin De Bruyne, and it comes down to how much Pep wants to rotate his squad. What we do know is there are going to be players within that squad who will be pushing for a Champions League starting position in the final against Chelsea. I think defensively we're suspect. I really do. I think Newcastle's strength lies in our attack. So, you know what? Maybe a slightly risky punt in the fact that we don't know if he will start, but he's always had a great record against us. You know, he's got 3 games left of his Premier League career, probably, because we're thinking maybe going to Barcelona. So Sergio Aguero would be my shout.
Oh, very good shout there indeed. And he probably does have that eye on that record, and I'm sure Pep does as well. Linked to this, Jeff262 has asked, is there any news on KDB's supposed lack of fitness?
Well, it's a muscle injury. So that's what we do know in much as that fact. That ruled him out of last weekend's game, and it will also keep him out of Friday night's game on Tyneside. He's still not training with the squad. Now, again, you know, you look at the wider scheme of things, and with City obviously already winning the Premier League, there's no need for Pep to sort of rush Kevin back into that team, because any kind of recurrence or an issue, and it could exacerbate that problem, and you could be talking weeks, you know, if not potentially months, which would rule him out the Euros as well. So it's not serious. He is progressing, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing Kevin back, you know, maybe if not in game week 37, then certainly on the final weekend.
So just a word of caution there. And I think that kind of goes with any Man City asset at the moment. You just don't know who is going to start. Mayonnaise was taken, has asked status on Declan Rice.
Declan Rice, yeah, so he's back out on the training pitches. He's actually has been working. Well, what I would say is he's definitely been working on an individual-based program, and there's a lot of suggestion that he will return to the matchday squad this weekend. However, that's unconfirmed. David Moyes' press conference will come on Friday. You know, whether he's commits on saying that Rice will be back remains to be seen. I think I looked at the predicted lineups this week, and I actually had Declan Rice on the bench, and that was purely coming from a fitness perspective. You know, there's going to be a lack of sharpness in there. We know that Manuel Lanzini is likely to miss out after recurrence of an adductor problem. And so my thoughts would be Mark Noble coming in, maybe to sit alongside Souček with Declan Rice on the bench. But of course, we're coming to that time of the season. West Ham are pushing for the Champions League places. We know that Declan Rice is a big, high status, high profile player for Moyes in West Ham. So, you know what? Maybe they do take a risk and just throw him in there because, you know, of there's 3 games left. It remains to be seen, but he certainly isn't far away in terms of, you know, his recovery and being back in the Hammers first team squad.
And I think if he does return soon, it will make my liking of their assets a bit more, because they have struggled quite a bit without him, and defensively that really has impacted them, and it's kind of worked all the way up the pitch as well. Every kind of player is suffering just a little bit in terms of their FPL output. Now, Lord Maul, I'm not sure if they're related to Darth Maul, the Sith Lord from Star Wars. They've asked the question about Jack Grealish. Any news on him?
Well, at the time of recording, Aston Villa team news has been announced. I think it's at Goodison Park against Everton. Now, the build up to the game and the discussions in and around that Villa squad and Dean Smith were, he has trained with the group, he trained twice. Discussions were going to take place with the club doctor, and a decision would have been made from that point. Now, Jack Grealish wasn't ready for a start, but potentially could be named in that match day squad. So, you know, I expect him, or certainly a good chance for him to return on Thursday. But if he isn't involved in the squad, then certainly Sunday.
The next question is from Titi Tandard. I guess they're a big fan of certain types of birds. What pub would what pub would I find you drinking in before the Toon match?
Well, I mean, I'm presuming you mean, you know, pre-COVID days. Stay local, stay Gateshead, and then travel into Newcastle inherently. So I'm Gateshead born and bred, really. Or well, Newcastle born, but bred in Gateshead. So Nothing really too flash, gated high street, rough, ready, just for people that I grew up with. Maybe the Globe, maybe the Fleece. I mean, proper stinkholes in all fairness, but serve a decent pint of beer and the crack's good.
I mean, do you have a pre-game kind of setup? Do you go for like certain foods? Do you have certain superstitions, or is it literally you just go for a beer, turn up to St. James's and have a good old time?
If I'm on the drink and I fancy a good session, I've got to have an empty stomach, so I'm not really eating anything. I'd get up early doors, maybe have a light breakfast, keep everything clear. Otherwise, I'm on the pot all day. The Geordie Otter will make an appearance. So yeah, and if I'm normally out, like I say, try to get out early doors, 10:30, 11 o'clock, have a proper old session. So yeah, I have a couple of liners with brown ale, maybe there's a couple of bottles of Bud, and then onto the Jack Daniels.
Oh, good stuff indeed, and a great insight into your match day experience, and I hope that does happen soon. It does seem like we'll be having fans back to football matches soon. The last question is from Green North 6657. They've asked DCL or Antonio for -4. Now, I know, Ben, you don't like taking hits, that's one of your rules, but if you were in this situation, what would you do?
It's a big call, to be honest. If DCL can replicate his form, how he started the season, then Everton will be well placed to push for those European spots. Antonio, West Ham, again, they're pushing for Champions League as well. So both teams have something to play for. I think attacking wise, you have more expected output from the Hammers. Everton haven't been great offensively, a little bit better away from home, but tend to keep things very tight and edged by the goal or so. And at Goodison, they haven't been great, whereas West Ham, maybe they've forfeited some of that defensive solidity and maybe focused more on what they can try and get up the other end. And with the likes of Lingard, Ben Rama, Bowen, Fornals and Antonio, and maybe even the return of Declan Rice and Souček's always a threat. I think there's a lot of attacking or offensive assets to like there. So I think maybe Antonio for me.
Yeah, I like Antonio as well in terms of his individual data. Last year, outstanding. I think he was probably the best striker in terms of XG per 90. It's just a bit of a shame, as we said there, the Declan Rice absence has quite affected him and the rest of the team. He's had his own injury problems, and I just have my reservations over Everton as well. There's kind of a limit of maybe one goal from DCL. He might plug along and have a good season, but I think Antonio can score 2 or 3 in a game. There is that ability there. But in terms of this game week, for blank game week 36, that is the Q&A session over. As always, we say you can comment on the videos, you can message us on Reddit, Twitter, however you want to get in contact with us, and we will try and answer questions for you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. We will be here, as stated, through the summer with some amazing content that we are still teasing, and we'll let you know about that very soon. But you don't want to miss out. You want to click that subscribe button and be here with us. But for now, I'm going to wish you the best of luck ahead of this game week, and I'm going to pass it to Mr. Ben, who you'll be worrying a little bit about this Newcastle fixture, but you're looking forward to game week 36.
Yeah, look, I'm cautiously optimistic that we can maybe pick up a point. Fingers crossed we get that happen. I'm more concerned about you opening up a slight gap in this game week. So I'm hoping that Mason Greenwood doesn't start and we get maybe a brace from Marcus Rashford, who's my triple captain. But that's another story. Listen, Jace, another great podcast. And thank you to everybody within the Reddit community for firing those questions across. Of course, we will be back ahead of game week 37. So keep those questions, those comments coming. And remember, hit that subscribe button. But for now, we're all done and good luck for the week.